You're traveling through the unknown, a journey beyond the corners of reality, where the shadows whisper and the chill runs deep. Welcome to the dimension where your deepest fears are given form. This is The Midnight Mystery.
Welcome to The Midnight Mystery. This episode is called Antarctica's Hidden Doomsday Secret. In each episode, we delve into the shadowed corners of our existence, bringing you tales of the eerie, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying. From the realms of the supernatural to the depths of the human psyche, no stone is left unturned, no dark secret left hidden. As the clock once again draws near midnight, prepare to embark on another adventure into the uncanny, the eerie, the horrifying, the midnight mystery. The room was dimly lit, shadows cast from a single desk lamp. I was standing in the heart of Shadow Vale's main headquarters, though the term headquarters seemed a bit grandiose for a covert organization. Director Harris, a middle-aged man with deep-set eyes and salt-peppered hair, beckoned me over. "Jack," he began, his voice a low whisper, "you've been chosen for a very important assignment." Curiosity piqued. I stepped forward. "What kind of assignment?" Harris gestured to a worn envelope on his desk, the words classified stamped in bold red ink. I reached for it, the weight of its importance evident. "You'll be stationed in an old research facility in Antarctica," Harris explained as I flipped open the envelope. Inside was a thick sheet with an intricate sequence of numbers, symbols, and codes. "This," he pointed, "is an encrypted algorithm. Why Antarctica? And what does this do?" My gaze moved from the sheet to him, questions racing in my mind. He leaned back, the leather of his chair creaking softly. "It's isolated, remote, perfect for what we need. As for the algorithm, your main task will be to input that sequence into an ancient, retrofitted computer every 4 hours." I raised an eyebrow. "Every 4 hours? What happens if I forget?" Harris looked at me intently. "Just don't. The consequences could be catastrophic." I paused, weighing the enormity of what was being asked. "But why is this so important? And why me?" Harris folded his hands. "You're the best coder we've got, and you have the discipline we need for this task. As for the importance, some things are best left unsaid, for now." The silence that followed was filled with a palpable tension. It was clear there was more to the story, but pushing further would be unwise. Shadow Vale was notorious for its secrecy. "And if I refuse?" I queried, though in my heart I already knew my answer. Harris smirked. "We both know you won't." The journey to the Antarctic base was uneventful, and soon I found myself amidst an icy wasteland, the research facility standing before me like a relic of the past. Inside, the old computer hummed, awaiting its coded lullaby. Every 4 hours. No exceptions. I glanced at the encrypted algorithm in my hand, then to the computer. "Here's to a long, cold journey," I whispered to myself, my fingers dancing across the keys. The outpost was like something from another era. Isolated, surrounded by endless stretches of snow and ice. It was a stark contrast to the bustling city life I was accustomed to. The days were cold, the nights colder, but it was the silence that was most chilling. My only connection to the outside world was a secured computer terminal. Every few days, an encrypted email would pop up from Shadow Vale with minimal updates or affirmations that all was well. My responses were succinct. "All is on schedule," or "routine maintained." One particularly frigid morning, after inputting the code yet again, I hesitated. My fingers hovered over the keys. On impulse, I typed, "What's the real reason for all of this?" A day passed, then 2. I regretted sending the message, imagining all sorts of reprimands or punitive actions for my outburst of curiosity. But on the 3rd day, a new encrypted message pinged. I opened it hesitantly. "Trust the process," was all it said. I sighed, frustrated. The secrecy was maddening. The silence of the outpost was occasionally broken by its creaking bones, a testament to the weight of its age and the relentless Antarctic winds. Those creaks and groans became familiar, like distant companions, but sometimes they only served to magnify the haunting isolation. One evening, as I sat sipping a cup of coffee, an unfamiliar sound broke the silence. A soft ping from the computer. An incoming video call. This was new. Shadow Vale never used video calls. I hesitated before accepting. The screen flickered to life, revealing a woman in her late 30s, her red hair neatly tied back. "Jack," she began, her voice slightly distorted from the connection. "Yes. Who's this?" I shot back, a hint of defensiveness in my tone. "Dr. Eleanor Reed," she introduced herself. "I'm part of the team that's monitoring the project you're involved with." I leaned forward, intrigued. "Can you tell me more about this project? I've been inputting these codes with no real knowledge of their purpose." Eleanor sighed, her face reflecting a conflict between professional duty and personal ethics. "I can't tell you everything, but I think you deserve some insight. The codes you're inputting aren't just random. They're keeping something in check." My pulse quickened. "Something? What kind of something?" She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "A force, Jack. A powerful one. If it's unleashed, the consequences could be dire." I frowned, mulling over her words. "And this force is here, in Antarctica?" Eleanor nodded. "Deep beneath the ice. Your outpost, the computer, the codes, it's all designed to maintain a balance." The weight of my task suddenly felt even heavier. I had so many questions, but Eleanor's image began to distort as the connection faltered. "Keep the routine, Jack," she urged as her voice broke up. "It's more important than you can imagine." As the call ended, the outpost's silence returned, now filled with the echoes of Eleanor's words and the gravity of my newfound knowledge. Weeks morphed into a blur, each day bleeding into the next, but the tedium of my routine was interrupted by oddities that I couldn't ignore. Every day at precisely 2:17 a.m., the ground beneath the outpost would shudder, a gentle vibration that rippled up through the icy floorboards, almost as if the earth itself had a heartbeat. The first time it happened, I brushed it off, attributing it to shifting tectonic plates or some other geological phenomenon, but its predictability unsettled me. And then there were the dreams. Every night, as I lay cocooned in my sleeping bag, I was visited by the same vision. A colossal being, its form shadowy and indistinct, seemed to beckon me. It rested deep within the earth, surrounded by layers of rock and ice, its presence both menacing and sorrowful. The dreams felt so real, so vivid, that I'd wake up drenched in sweat, the cold air piercing my skin as I tried to shake off the lingering images. Unable to bear the mounting pressure of the unknown, I reached out to Shadow Vale. Sitting in front of the terminal, I typed hastily. "Something's happening. The ground vibrates every day, and I've been having dreams, consistent cryptic ones. I need answers." Not even a day had passed when a response pinged back, but instead of Eleanor, it was Director Harris's familiar curt tone that greeted me. "Stay focused on your task. Dreams can be a byproduct of isolation. As for the vibrations, it's normal for the region." His words did little to calm my nerves. Frustrated, I replied, "Normal? There's nothing normal about any of this. What's really down there? What am I keeping in check?" Harris's reply was almost instant. "Your role is to input the codes. We'll handle the rest. Trust the process." Frustrated by the continuous evasions of Shadow Vale, I decided to take matters into my own hands. The outpost held a small library, filled with logs and research papers from past expeditions. I hoped to find something, anything, that could give me a clue about the true nature of my assignment. Sifting through the dusty papers, one particular log caught my attention. The date was from 30 years prior, detailing an excavation of an enormous meteor discovered deep beneath the ice. The log was filled with scientific jargon, but what truly drew me in were the hand-drawn sketches. The meteor, as depicted, wasn't just a rock. Its texture, shape, and markings suggested something organic. As I delved deeper into the logs, a note fell out. Written in rushed handwriting, it read, "It's not just a meteor. It's alive. We can hear it. Dreaming." Chills ran down my spine. Could this be related to the dreams I'd been having? Determined, I went back to the secured computer terminal, bypassing its primary interface to access archived communications and data. After hours of searching and decrypting, I stumbled upon an old file labeled Celestial Anomaly. The document was a revelation. Scientists had discovered that the meteor was, in fact, a celestial egg harboring a colossal creature. It was speculated that this being was a Titan, possibly an ancient guardian of Earth or a traveler from the cosmos. For reasons unknown, it had gone dormant beneath the Antarctic ice. The next document contained detailed studies of the Titan's brain activity. Buried amidst the technical details was a revelation that left me astounded. The codes I had been inputting into the computer acted as a form of lullaby, resonating at a frequency that kept the Titan in its slumbering state. The weight of realization settled heavily on me. I recalled the vibrations, the dreams, and the being beckoning me. It wasn't just the isolation playing tricks on my mind. It was the Titan, its dreams seeping into mine. I fired off an email to Shadow Vale, my fingers trembling with a mix of excitement and fear. I know about the Titan. I know why I'm here. Almost immediately, Director Harris's voice crackled from the terminal's speaker. Jack, you were not supposed to find out. Why didn't you tell me? I countered, frustration evident in my voice. I deserve to know. Harris sighed. Knowing the full weight of your responsibility could have compromised the mission. The Titan is neither good nor bad. It simply is, and we can't risk it waking up. I swallowed hard, understanding the enormity of my task and the delicate balance I was a part of. We trust you, Jack, Harris continued, softening his tone. Stay the course. The world depends on it. Even with the newfound revelations, a part of me refused to accept the truth. It felt like something out of a science fiction novel, and the logical, pragmatic part of my brain couldn't easily digest it. How could a celestial Titan rest beneath my feet? And how could a simple sequence of codes be the barrier between slumber and potential devastation? These doubts, however, were forcefully dismissed one evening. After losing track of time engrossed in more of the outpost's logs, I was late in inputting the code. No more than 10 minutes, but it was enough. The ground beneath me trembled violently, throwing me off my feet. Shelves toppled, books scattered, and the computer screen flashed an alarm. Terrified, I rushed to the terminal, hastily inputting the codes. The trembling subsided as quickly as it had started, but the gravity of what had just occurred wasn't lost on me. Before I could process it all, the terminal pinged, an incoming call from Shadow Vale. I answered immediately, and Director Harris's face filled the screen. Jack! He exclaimed, his usually stoic face betraying his concern. What happened? I was late, I admitted, shame mixed with the adrenaline of the moment. Only by a few minutes, but... Harris sighed, rubbing his temples. Every second counts, Jack. You experienced a minor tremor, a mere nudge from the Titan. Imagine the catastrophe if it fully awakens. I nodded, the weight of my responsibility heavier than ever. Why didn't you tell me everything from the start? His expression softened. Fear can be paralyzing, Jack. Knowing too much might have overwhelmed you, made you prone to mistakes. We needed you focused, undistracted by the magnitude of it all. But I deserve the truth, I protested. You're right, he conceded, and for that, I apologize. But now that you know, you understand why we must maintain this routine. Suddenly an idea struck me. What if the computer fails, or I fall sick? Harris nodded. We've anticipated such scenarios. Backup is en route. You won't be alone in this for much longer. Relief washed over me. Who's coming? Dr. Eleanor Reed, Harris responded. She's the one who contacted you earlier. Eleanor is our leading expert on the Titan. She believes there might be a way to communicate with it, to understand its intentions. My mind raced with questions. How soon will she be here? Within a week, Harris replied. Until then, maintain the routine. The world's safety is in your hands, Jack. As the call ended, I took a moment to breathe. Backup was coming. But the responsibility still rested heavily on my shoulders. With renewed determination, I set timers, alarms, anything to ensure I'd never be late again. The relentless howl of the storm outside was a stark reminder of how isolated and vulnerable I was in this frozen wasteland. I tried keeping myself distracted with more logs and research while waiting for Dr. Reed, but Mother Nature had other plans. The dim glow of the computer screen flickered momentarily, followed by a deafening silence as the power went out. Panic set in. The room was swallowed by darkness, save for the ghostly luminance from the storm outside. The backup generator should kick in, I thought. But when seconds turned into minutes, I realized that something had gone wrong. Without warning, the ground beneath rumbled, shaking the outpost with a fury that dwarfed the previous tremor. My heart raced. The Titan was restless. Stumbling in the darkness, I remembered the auxiliary power supply located in the back room. It was meant for emergencies, and this was undoubtedly one. With hands shaking from cold and fear, I managed to connect the power cables, praying that it would be enough to reboot the ancient computer. The screen sputtered to life, but the familiar interface was gone. Instead, a complex algorithm sprawled across the monitor, its lines interweaving like some intricate puzzle. "Come on, Jack, think," I whispered to myself. Memories from my training flashed before my eyes. Algorithms, coding sequences, emergency protocols. I started inputting what I remembered, but with each keystroke, the ground quaked more ominously. An incoming call notification beeped, cutting through my concentration. I swiftly accepted, and Director Harris's face appeared, creased with worry. "Jack, the storm has delayed our backup, and our remote sensors have detected increased activity from the Titan. What's going on?" "The power went out," I panted, fingers flying over the keyboard. "I'm trying to input a new sequence, but it's not like anything I've seen before." Harris's expression grew graver. "You have to get it right, Jack. We're seeing worldwide seismic disruptions. The world is feeling the Titan's unrest." My hands froze momentarily, the weight of the world literally upon them. "I need help," I confessed. "I can't do this alone." Harris nodded, determination setting in his features. "Describe the code sequence to me. Let's solve this together." For what felt like hours but was mere minutes, we worked tirelessly, deciphering line after line of the cryptic algorithm. Each successful input brought a brief respite from the shaking, a sign that we were on the right track. As we reached the final lines, the storm outside raged even harder, wind screaming as if echoing the Titan's restless dreams. "Last line," Harris murmured, his voice tinged with hope. "Input 3, 145 Epsilon Tau Zeta Omega." I keyed in the sequence with bated breath, the outpost shuddering around me. As I pressed enter, the ground's trembling ceased, replaced by a profound stillness. The computer screen displayed a simple message. "Sequence complete. Lullaby engaged. We did it." Against all odds, we had placated the Titan once more. Harris's voice broke the silence, heavy with relief. "Well done, Jack. You've proved once again why you were chosen for this mission." I slumped into my chair, exhaustion and adrenaline crashing over me. "We can't let this happen again. We need contingencies, backups for backups." Harris nodded. "We'll ensure you're better prepared, and once the storm clears, Eleanor will be there. You won't be alone." As the storm outside raged, I felt a storm within me too. Fingers numb from cold, heart racing from fear, I input the new sequence into the old computer. With every keystroke I prayed, hoping against hope that the seismic quivers beneath me would still. The final key pressed, and a profound stillness settled. The once raging Titan, with all its cosmic might, was lulled back to slumber by a mere mortal's frantic coding. The next day, when the storm had subsided, and the Antarctic horizon displayed its stark beauty once again, a helicopter marked with the Shadow Veil insignia descended upon the facility. Its rotors threw snow and ice in wild swirls as it touched down. The team disembarked, Director Harris leading the way. "Jack," he called out, relief evident in his voice. "You did it! You saved us all!" Their words of praise were many, but the burden in my heart was heavier. The Titan, with its unyielding force and ancient power, felt like a chained beast, powerful, restless, and resentful. As promised, Shadow Veil sent a partner to help me maintain the lullaby sequence. Her name was Lena, intelligent, sharp, and with a mysterious edge to her. She was a quick learner. "Remember," I told her, pointing at the screen's intricate lines of code, "any deviation, any delay, and we risk everything." She nodded, her eyes reflecting the computer's dim glow. "Don't worry, I understand the stakes." But as days passed, I noticed something odd about Lena. Late at night, when she thought I was asleep, I'd catch her whispering into a communication device, her words hushed and hurried. One night, curiosity got the better of me. I sneaked up behind her and overheard her saying, "The time is near, soon it will be free." Confronting her was my immediate instinct, but I held back, deciding to investigate further. To my horror, I discovered that Lena was part of a cult that revered the Titan as a god. They believed that by freeing it, they would usher in a new age for the planet. One fateful evening, as I was inputting the lullaby sequence, she approached me, her face cold, devoid of the camaraderie we once shared. "It's time," she whispered, producing a small device from her pocket and activating it. Instantly, the computer went haywire, its screen flashing in alarming patterns. "What have you done?" I screamed, trying to revert the changes. She merely smiled, her eyes distant and fanatical. The age of the Titan begins. Humanity had its chance. The ground trembled, shakes more violent than ever before. I fought with the computer, attempting to counteract whatever she had done, but it was too late. The facility began to crumble, and I saw through the shattering windows the colossal form of the Titan rising, breaking through the icy surface. Lena, still with that eerie smile, walked towards the window, arms outstretched, as if welcoming the very destruction she had unleashed. The last thing I remember, as the world around me shattered, was the haunting sound of the Titan's roar, echoing through the icy wastelands, signaling the dawn of a new, terrifying age. I hope you enjoyed our episode. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to you, our brave listeners. Your presence in this shared journey into the unknown is what fuels our stories. Your fascination is our motivation. Did this episode send chills down your spine? Then leave your comments, your thoughts and theories, your own midnight mysteries. Your feedback is the beacon that guides us through the uncharted territories of our stories. And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel. By joining the Midnight Mystery family, you won't miss out on a single chilling tale. As a subscriber, you'll be the first to know when a new episode lurks around the corner, ready to pull you back into the shadowy depths of the unknown. This is the Midnight Mystery signing off, leaving you with a simple reminder. When the clock strikes 12, fear the silence, for that's when our tales come to life. Good night, Midnight listeners. And remember, not all who wander into the dark are lost.